The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
Imagine that. I took a second to zoom right on out on SPY, and what happens? It doesn't look that bad. What is it showing me? We're riding this 45-degree angle, 35-degree angle, just straight up, and we're still just sitting in this. You see this? Salsa verde on the top, Reza Pico de Gallo on the bottom, Salsa Pico de Gallo on the bottom, the red. We're basically just surfing this channel, dude. That's it. I've been talking about how this M probably should happen, though, because we do have a gap back here around 400, and technically we probably should still hit that. I'd feel a lot more confident if we went and refilled that and completed this M I drew in with the white and then bounce up to the next leg, but sometimes it does that. You know, we have skipped some bigger stuff in the past, bigger gaps in the past. So the moral of the story is, unless we break totally out of either one of these types of salsa here, out of this burrito, we're totally fine. We're totally fine as is, you know. Again, we could come and break through this, any news article to use to do it, to refill that gap at 400, but regardless, that's why we're in mostly SPACs right now anyway, because they're floored out, most of them still. We're getting some love last week, but dude, they're still so cheap. Totally still so cheap. We're gonna jump on over to crypto, dude. It's the big deal talking about right now because it's down. People are like, should I buy the dip? Is this the end? I'll let you figure it out from here. So there's something called a stable coin ratio. Okay, explanation: a stable coin supply ratio, SSR, is a ratio between Bitcoin supply and the supply of stable coins denoted in BTC, which is Bitcoin, or Bitcoin market cap to stablecoin market cap. It's kind of the yin and the yang. You know, everything's got to have their balances, just like stocks, bonds, dollars, all that. On the crypto side, it kind of has that too. We use the following stable coins to supply this measure: USDT, all these above here. The stablecoin ratio is the ratio between Bitcoin supply and the stable supply of the ratio going up. Bitcoin supply going up faster than the stable coins. They have that alligator effect we talk about, right? The jaw gets open and eventually they've got to close. It happens. You don't believe me? Just look at this beautiful chart. This is from glassnode.com. This is one of their charts they have here. So what are we looking at? We've got this green area, green highlighted area. Basically every time the orange, let's just call it, what is the orange? The stable coin supply ratio, SSR. Every time it gets down to there, to this green ratio, you see what happens? The gray, which is the price of Bitcoin, goes up. You see this? So we dipped it back down to the green. What happened? Bitcoin went up. Took about 2 years. What happened? The orange went all the way down. Guess what? Bitcoin went up. A year later, hit the green. Guess what? Bitcoin had another monster rally up. Well, guess where we're at? We're basically coming right out of the channel again. So we've already dipped into the green channel and are looking to take another rip up. We're already actually out. Now this could come back, just looking at the chart here, and look like this one back in April of 2020, where we could have kind of like another fake out where it's gonna dip just like one more little time. But basically this just means that we've got more buyers than wannabe sellers. There's only so much supply of Bitcoin, unlike fiat dollars where they just keep printing it and diluting it. You can't dilute this stuff, man. That's why it makes so much more sense, right? There's a reason, there's a big macro picture for all that, but regardless what we care about, if we're going to invest in the Bitcoins and all that, just look at this chart. Look how far up the price is, though, too. This gap has to close. This is going to go with every thesis that is out there where Bitcoin should rally. This is something really interesting, too. This is basically showing the US dollar to worth of Bitcoin. Okay, back in, let's say, I don't know, when was this? 2016, 0.002, let's call it, of an American dollar could buy a Bitcoin. Let's just say that, all right? But what you can see here is the buying power is this red line. So the buying power is the US dollar compared to Bitcoin. And what is going on? It's going down. So the dollar versus the Bitcoin value keeps tanking. Why? One of the big reasons we keep printing supply of US dollars and world currencies. All world currencies are doing it, all right? It's not just the US. But that's not happening with Bitcoin. So naturally, Bitcoin is becoming more worth, even on paper, than US dollars and all other fiats by far. Just look at this chart. I think 80% of the US fiat supply has been printed in the last year. So we've printed an extra 80% of current supply just in the past year. Think what that means. Your $100, you might have got those $1,200 stimulus checks, a couple of those, whatever, folks. But don't think that didn't have a big lifelong effect on your dollar. That $100 and $1,200 you got is not worth $1,200 anymore. It's worth way less. All right? Don't believe me? Go shopping. Look at the price of stuff before you ring that credit card. Where are we going for Bitcoin? Here's the chart. My chart looks the same. This is the white I drew in. It is following it perfectly. You know, we dipped outside of it a little bit here back 3 weeks ago or something, a little above it. But it's just following it down. It's using this, my white line as resistance here. All right. I still think, yeah, we could still dip down and touch this 29. Okay, we could still do that. We could even prepare for the worst, though. I mean, we could go all the way down to the previous all-time highs from the last rally a couple of years ago, which was, let's just call about 20,000. We still could hit that. We don't know. We could still even go to zero. Chances are not. I think we're going to do the white line I drew in, but be prepared for the purple or even worse. I drew this kind of just in case, right? So how should you be playing this? Should you be going to leveraged ETFs and doing bull and bear? No. Okay. We like the smallest amount of risk with the biggest amount of gain. Imagine if you could have both of those. I think we have figured out ways to do it. Many ways to do it. Don't you like that? Less risk, more money? Follow me to Valhalla. I also found this other nice triangle here. So if we draw this green salsa verde line here on top, right, we've got a descending, let's call it descending triangle, right? See this going down? We basically got a 35-degree angle. We're actually following this thing like crazy too, but this is basically following my exact white line, right? I made this one, let's call it the fuchsia, all right? Rose salsa, y'all ever heard rose salsa? The bottom of this burrito. Look at this coming back though from, when would this be, like beginning of the year or something? It's following this line great. So now what we've got is this descending wedge here that it's been using as support. It's popped off of this thing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times on the daily marker. You know, if you move it down an hour or whatever, it's going to be way more than that. If something has hit something 13 times and rejected, pay attention to it, right? We're usually dealing with horizontals. Those usually mean the most, carry the most amount of weight. But when you see something dinging off and creating a perfect angle like that many, many times, pay attention to it. So where does this leave us as far as charting goes? Almost exactly to follow my white line. So as charting goes, this should probably get somewhere around where this white line dips in here in the next, let's say 2, 3, 4 weeks. It could get even tighter into this little triangle at the end here, you know, just tiny up and down. And then what's going to happen? It's going to explode north or south, right? It's going to go bull or bear. Technically, it's probably going to go bull. It's going to go north. Could it go down? Yeah. So keep that in mind. Only put in what you can risk. If you can't risk anything, get out. Okay? Get into floored SPACs, man. If you're, you know, dealing with trying to pay rent or whatever on this, manage your own risk. You got to figure that out. Only you can figure that out. All right? Moving on from there, though, again, should we just keep buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that? I don't think so. Why? Because they're still hardly off. I mean, Bitcoin is what? It's like on paper about 50% off. It was 67. You can get it for like 35 right now. Should you buy one Bitcoin for 35 grand or 1/20th of one or whatever? No. Because we have other plays that will multiply way higher, right? They're way further off. I got plays here that are like 90% off all-time highs instead of 50% off. So imagine if you go to the super duper sale closeout bin and get like really awesome projects that might run on Ethereum, or, you know, what about ones that run on like ADA? Talk about that, Cardano. ADA is the one that's coming right behind Ethereum, all right? It's going to be the next cool one to pop with that. And then next after that, I believe, is going to be the Polkadot network. All right, and I've given you tons of plays on these. The first one here, cards, 85.4% off. This thing was $80. You can buy it right now today at $12.21. Buy plays like this. If you're going to be playing crypto, crypto is sketchy. There's no floor, okay? Buy something like this. That can multiply a 2 to 3x just to even get to where it was 2 months ago, right? Or get on the Polkadot network, something like this, PDEX. This thing is showing about 70% all-time highs. But you got to realize, like this thing here, this Polkadex, this has got a market cap of 8.4 million. That's it. $8.4 million. That is it. All right. This is ranked the 862 highest market cap out of all the crypto coins. That is nothing, right? Most people are trying to buy the Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are all the stuff in the top 10. Forget that. Buy the stuff that's going to start moving towards there, and the baby brother sister plays like this one, right? Because even if this hits all-time highs, you're going to 3x your money, okay? To hit where it was before, you're going to 3x. And then from there, it's still going to be super tiny market cap. At that point, it'd only be like 20 million market cap, which is nothing, dude. This thing is where you can get these 10, 20, 30 Xers and above. If you want way more plays, more detail on the crypto stuff, I have the link right here down in the description. In this video, click on that. I go over tons of plays. Here's the video. This is a perfect profile for you to build it. I set it all up for you. You want to get into sports betting, dude? Yes. Yes, sports betting, dude. Imagine owning the cool side of the casino, like the digital side. Just the transaction size. But anytime someone gets on their mobile phone and loses money, because that's what gambling stuff is, right? Even like sports betting, it's still a gamble. You know, you make it slightly educated, but it's still gambling. These plays are awesome. Why? Because they make a lot of people a lot of money that are invested in them, not the people playing them for the most part. But get this. Beautiful music to my ears. Canada lawmakers push sports betting bill to the finish line. Yeah. Canada now has a clear path to legalize sports betting after the Senate. Did you know Canada had a Senate? Passed the bill on Tuesday with the royal assent from the country's Chief Justice pending. It's formality. 38 million people, though, will soon be able to join the party, eh? If y'all ever party with the Canadians, they'll get down, man. 38 million of them are going to be partying on the sports betting. Are sports big in Canada? Yes. All right. We can bet on hockey. Guess who's advertising a lot on hockey games? Ticker SEAH. Betway, which is like zero risk to buy right now. Did I mention that? Imagine a sports betting play with like zero risk and infinite upside. And then 38 million people are being added to the ability to play on that. Even if every one of those people spends $1, think about it. 57 to 20 vote, by the way. I love Canada. Sports entertainment, SEAH. Was this the Shack SPAC? No, that was FRX. Okay, SEAH here. We're just sitting $10.11. Can you believe that? Dude, if this was February, this would be $23 right now, at least. Nothing. What do we want to be like? It's bigger brother, which actually is not that much bigger of a brother. It's just that on paper, he's worth more. Why? Because look at DraftKings, DKNG, $51.67. You betcha, eh? You betcha, eh? If we can even get half as high as DKNG at 25, are you multiplying? You betcha. Especially if you bought stuff like maybe some of the commons on here. Remember, there's warrants you can buy that'll multiply like crazy. Guess what? There's even options. Just buy the commons if you don't want any risk. It's ridiculous, dude. We are blessed. How about this one? GNOG, Golden Nugget Online Gaming. This is another sports betting, or just mainly betting, right? Just like slot stuff. I think they have sports, but I can't even remember. Regardless, this one hit like 20 bucks. It's now sitting at $12.90. Which one's better, the Golden Nugget? Golden Nugget has the brand, but it's kind of the old school brand. This other one says more sports, kind of cooler, I think. I don't see how it won't. at least hit what Golden Nugget did, though. Come on, people.
Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.